भद्रं कर्णैभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागं सस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति न पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमि स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Let us now pray together. We offer our salutations to the all-loving being who endows all beings with consciousness. We meditate on the Lord, who is the origin of the universe. Lord, Thou abidest in all, Thou art all, Thou assumest all forms. Thou art the origin and goal of all. Thou art the self of all. Thou art existence, knowledge and bliss. Salutations unto Thee. May the world be peaceful. May the wicked become gentle. May all creatures think of mutual welfare. May their minds be occupied with what is spiritual and abiding. May our hearts be immersed in selfless love for the Lord. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. The opening song, Peter. You can join in singing.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. The light that shines is the light of love. Shines from darkness from above. Shines on me and it shines on you. Shows what the light of love can do. I'm gonna shine mine far and near. I'm gonna shine mine bright and clear. When there's a dark corner in this land, gonna let my little light shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Monday gave me the gift of love. Tuesday peace came from above. Wednesday told me to have more faith. Thursday gave me a little more grace. Friday taught me to watch and pray. Saturday told me what to say. And Sunday gave me the power divine. Let my little light shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Shine, 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 shine.
Thank you, dear Peter. Truth, friends, is the highest value in life. Whether somebody is overtly religious or not, accepts God or not, still has respect for truth. truth is, uh, one can say, is actually a synonym for God. God is truth, truth is God. So, the reason is the truth is an independent entity. Truth has come to us, the sense of truth has not been ingrained into us by family or by society, culture, or anything. It is something that we come with. It is instilled, uh, let us say, before we are born. It is the truth. On the basis of this understanding, a deep understanding of truth, we decide the worth of other things, the value of other things. So, truth is that which is just given. It is not a sense that is cultivated afterwards, but it is with us. And the truth, the question is, do we accept the truth? The acceptance of truth is a somewhat different phenomena. Knowing or accepting the truth being independent. If, say, I do not accept truth, the truth doesn't get affected by that. It is I who get affected by accepting or rejecting it. The truth remains, it catches up. It is, Swami Vivekananda gives the analogy that if a little rabbit is being chased by a fox, now the rabbit kind of understands that it cannot really prevent the fox from overtaking it. The fox is running very fast, and soon it will be gobbled by the fox. Now, what the rabbit does, it stops running and puts its head in the sand so that that rabbit is no more seeing the fox running. But does that stop the fox from seeing the rabbit? That doesn't happen. It is in fact, the fox now catches the rabbit uh, before than otherwise he would have caught the running rabbit. It becomes easier for the fox. So, our not wanting to see the truth does not mean that the truth will not catch up with us. Like that fox was going to catch up with rabbit. So it is like that even if we refuse to accept the truth catches up. Now, when we accept the truth, it makes our life go on the path of truth. As this beautiful song was telling us, that is a process of this little light within us shining more and more. It is making this light shine. That is the learning to accept the truth. That is the inner light. And as we learn to accept the truth, our life changes by that in a positive way. If we refuse to accept the truth, that doesn't bring us any benefit as such. It appears to be for the time being somewhat convenient, but that doesn't affect the truth. It is truth does not depend on what a majority says. Truth, even if majority says, suppose that salt does not dissolve in water. Will that have any effect on salt? It will not have any effect on the connection between water and salt. That it doesn't depend on majority. Since majority is not accepting that the salt is dissolved in water, that doesn't change it. If majority say refuses to accept climate change, that doesn't have any effect on climate change. Only you stop seeing it and you stop taking the proper measures for that. So it is a learning to accept the truth. It is, Swami Vivekananda says, that truth does not pay homage to any society, ancient or modern. This society has to pay homage to truth or perish. Our survival or otherwise depends on how much we are ready to accept the truth, how much we learn to mold our life according to the truth. The truth gets accepted in us at different levels. It is not that we reject truth completely at all different levels of our personality. The truth getting accepted in our head, which is usually simple for the people who have a very sharp intellect. That yes, I see this as truth, it is accepted at the level of intellectual understanding. It is a big step, not that it happens immediately, because in our intellect also there are a lot of different bumps and obstacles. So, therefore, it is not even easy for the intellect to appreciate the truth. But comparatively, it is easier for most people. I don't say all, but for most people, accepting the truth in the head is easier. I keep on remembering, and these feelings have been echoed by many, that when our lectures here are going, the classes on Upanishads and Vedanta, that one lady had said some years back that, Swami, what you are saying makes perfect sense here, but not here. So I said, well, you are not alone, you know. It is with me too sometimes that it makes perfect sense here. But because of our attachments, because of entanglements, which somehow we are loath to give up, we do not accept it at heart. And what happens if the rejection at the level of heart is intense? Then it starts affecting or manipulating our understanding of truth in the head. That no, it is not true. It is, it appears to be true, but it is not, because you give so many reasons for that. Our intellect then becomes slave to our attachments. It prevents us from accepting the truth. So instead of changing our feelings uh, in the light of truth, what happens is we try to change that light of truth to make it kind of convenient, at least for the time being, that okay, and now I don't have to give up all this. This happens, how it is like if we need to do, say, steps are to be taken to do this surgery. Many have either fear or deep abhorrence for surgery. Now, if it is to be done, if that is to be accepted, and then gradually persuaded one to take up that. If not, they, okay, well, I don't like to do it, I do not want to undergo surgery. That is in, one way of, not accepting the truth of the need of surgery. But then the reverse process starts, that your intellect starts, supporting what you are doing. The head follows the heart instead of the heart following the head. And the head starts following the heart, and I start giving arguments in support of my attachments. So, something that I don't like, and so now likings and dislikings, they keep on fluctuating. They do not have permanence. But if I don't like things, then even if the light of truth is telling that, well, this is the right thing, this is true, I react to it, saying that no, it is not truth. You give the counter arguments. It is, and the arguments can be given in any way. It is not necessary that stronger arguments means you see the truth better. You can argue stronger. That is a different thing. See, proving is not necessarily that the test of truth. Many things which are not true, given a very strong debater, a powerful debater can show that how that is right. Like a powerful lawyer can tear into all the arguments of the opposite party, and they can show something that is not true to be true. It is, there is that famous story people say about a well-known lawyer, that he used to drink a lot and so forget on whose side his arguments are. So one day in the court, he started giving arguments one after another, that how this is like this is, and then somebody was pulling at his coat. Hey, what? No, you are lawyer for the opposite party. This is what you are doing. You are demolishing your own case. Oh, is it so? Okay, nothing is lost. And then he started saying, what up to now I was saying was all that our opponents can say. Now see how everything that they were saying, how it is false. And he tore into all the arguments there. So it is the question of the debating skills. Sri Ramakrishna's disciple, the most prominent disciple, Swami Vivekananda, the then Narendranath, Sri Ramakrishna would make him get into debate with others, just and would sit there enjoying. So it is, and many times that debate, now he could prove things, but he could not convince others. See, proving does not bring conviction. So one can prove. So therefore, it is the accepting by head or rejecting by head. It is not necessarily that affecting the truth as such. You accept the truth and then move on with it. But you cannot change the truth just because you can intellectually prove something that is opposite. It is very interesting. Sometimes I tell people very confusing, but very, intellectually invigorating arguments you can find in a book of one mathematician. It is that Lakatos is the name of that mathematician, a British mathematician. He has written a book, Proofs and Refutations. So, one can prove anything by that. One gives a proof of a theorem. Immediately, as a very bright student says, see, this proof is not right. This is an example where this theorem does not work at all, and so your proof is not right. So then the other student shows the flaw in this student's argument. Another student says, no, no, how this is correct. So counter arguments, all that goes on. So has that changed the truth? Our understanding of truth might have changed, but the truth remains independent of it all that we argue for or against. So therefore, acceptance of truth by head, but not by our heart or by our hands, that is our behavior. That is a very common occurrence, especially when it comes to the truth, ultimate truth that we speak of in religion, the truth about God. Okay, one understands it intellectually, but because it hits my attachments and all that, it doesn't come to my heart. But if I am sincere, what happens is I try to let it seep into my feelings, and my feelings get then gradually changed according to the light of truth. And there is another case also, that it is accepted by head, accepted by heart, but still it is not percolating in my behavior. That is, that one may think that that is a strange thing if it is accepted by head. If that is accepted also by heart, then what prevents it from coming it in one's behavior? That the point there is that it again, our body has a lot of its own habits. So therefore, it takes lot of efforts to break those habits. Some are very hardworking, very active, and so they do it faster. Others have lethargy. They therefore postpone it. Isn't it familiar? That it is accepted by head, accepted by heart. But today, it is a very warm day. Let it be today. Forget it, from tomorrow, I will try maybe. Or from next month. This is how it is postponement, lethargy. And so, what is called in our Vedantics, these understanding as tamas, the cloud of darkness. So that darkness does not let us actively work to change our behavior in the light of truth. And the person has understood intellectually, person has also accepted in heart, yeah, that is true, I must follow that. Yes, the heart is not rebelling against that. Yes, I understand it. but still the change in behavior does not happen. Now the question is that what do we do to make the truth acceptable from, say, head to heart and heart to behavior? And this is a, a, a common difficulty that these practical spiritual aspirants need to deal with, that I have understood in head. Now, uh, how can I bring it in my feelings? So, turning of the feelings. Here, the yoga or the practice is to make our feelings wake up, that try to feel the truth. It is the question of awakening of the feeling or warming up towards that it is truth. Let me feel that truth. It is intellectually thinking is there, but the next step, that is feeling, is to be awakened. And that is the thoughts, let them become feelings in our heart, and then we can move in the next direction. If we have the thinking, but it doesn't percolate into our feeling, then it doesn't go too far in changing our life. So let it seep deeper by awakening the feeling. So that is one way. Second way is, well, make the alignment between thinking and feeling is to be made in such a way that, well, feelings will automatically follow the thinking. It is like your car, that's a good example. That its steering and other control mechanism does not power the car. The engine is powering the car. But that power gets directed or is followed, the power follows the direction given by the steering. So that is the head is like that steering, and feelings are the power. See, feelings provide power in life. So feelings are very important. So it is, but that power needs to be guided by the steering. If our steering is not working, then that car cannot be driven. In fact, we have a steering lock in our car here, our van. So if the thief, even if the thief enters and has some kind of a key that that person can make and start engine, yet because of the steering lock, the car cannot be driven. It is because, imagine, if you cannot turn the steering, that's it. So therefore, this steering is, the head is to be put in that position. So this alignment is an important thing in one's life. We have many times this misalignment between head and heart. So therefore both come to, a knot. That engine becomes like steering. If the steering is locked, not moving, then what is the use of the car? It can't be driven. It comes to standstill. So similarly, there is the head and there is the heart. Both are there, but if they are not properly aligned, they are at loggerheads. we experience this, that while my thought pulls me in one direction, my feelings pull me in other direction. Imagine, that if the car, two wheels are want to go to east, two other wheels want to go to west, it will be a very difficult situation. That is what happens with our fight between head and heart. So aligning them properly, that yes, the head is giving the directions. Head has understood the truth, so let the feelings be guided by the thoughts. So this is a practice that one has to do, that if something is right, understood to be correct, now you have to work on the feelings in the light of that to make it follow that. Because, well, the truth is truth, whether you accept it or you don't accept it, that is truth. It is, we had, one printer. He used to do all the printing work, and we used to send paper to that printer. A huge quantity, tons of paper was being sent, and after the job is done, not just one job, many jobs are done, many books have been printed, then there would be the account about how much paper was sent and how much is remaining. So the person was a Swami there. He used to do the paper account. So would call the printer that according to our calculation, you should have so much of paper as balance. And the printer would say, okay. And the Swami asked, do you really have it? Do you really have it? And the printer said, well, if the account is showing that we should have, there is no point in saying we don't have it. Even if we don't have it, we have to buy and put it there. It is because the account is showing that we have to have it. I can't fight with truth. So if your account is showing that I have to have this, so one cannot fight with those figures. That is, I have to accept it. So our feelings have to, whether the feelings means in practical terms it is our likes and dislikes. So our likes and dislikes, they many times refuse to accept the truth, that this is the truth, but if I don't like it, I don't want to accept it. That actually doesn't change the situation, only you are just left out of the benefits of truth. So your light will not shine, the truth doesn't get impacted by that. So this is what happens as an obstacle described in Bhagavad Gita, the 7th chapter, that it is that the convenience or likes and dislike, they take precedence over our understanding. So it becomes then the cart before the horses, that the heart kind of trying to pull the intellect. It is, heart is very important, both are important, like the cart is important, the horse is important, but they have to put in the proper place. If you put cart before the horse, then the horse is useless, cart is useless. So therefore this alignment is described in this verse of Bhagavad Gita, that it comes in the 7th chapter. इच्छाद्वेष समुत्थेन द्वन्द्वमोहेन भारत सर्वभूतानि सम्मोहं सर्गे यान्ति परन्तप. That Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna, Parantapa, the foe of that enemies, so the tormentor of the foes. What happens is Ichha Dvesha, that is the likes, desires and aversions. What happens with that? That one gets confused about what is true and what is not true. They cloud our understanding. This is a common experience. I many times give my own examples that I like to eat hot chilies. Now, because I like it, I refuse to accept that there can be bad consequences of it. Sometimes knowledgeable people tell, well, don't eat that much. But because of liking for the chilies, I don't want to listen to that advice. I start arguing against it. So it is because my likes, likes and dislikes. If somebody doesn't like a person, that's it, everything about that person is just disliked. It is, and so even if that person is doing some good work, you do not credit that person with it. So it is ichha dvesha, the likes and dislikes. They are governing our understanding. And what is that? It is sammoha. The word is very nice. One gets completely deluded then about the nature of the truth. So, you cannot decide what is the truth in the ultimate sense. Shankaracharya points out, let alone in the ultimate sense. In the commentary on this verse, Shankaracharya says that even in the matters of our this commonplace truth, that because of my desires, it gets all colored, and my understanding gets completely muddled up because of my likes and dislikes. Even in the regular worldly matters, what to speak of the ultimate supreme truth. So therefore, one has to learn to rise above the likes and dislikes. This is a process, this is a spiritual practice to learn to transcend likes and dislikes. That is how the passage for the truth becomes now available for the heart to get soaked in. The heart then gets soaked in the truth, and then how the hands will follow it, how the behavior will go along with it. It requires work. It requires that practice of work, what is called karma yoga, the working in the spirit of the truth. And thus that will bring the change. One has to actually do this work. We say, well, is body important? It is not important if we do not identify ourselves with body. But how many of us are like that? Just think of it. We get identified with body so much that when the body goes to Providence, I say, I have gone to Providence. And did I really go? It is, a matter of debate, you say. It is, the body goes. If the body is sick, you say, I am sick. So it is identification with body. I am 5.5 feet tall. Well, the body, you are talking about the height of body. You don't have any height basically as self. So that is the level, deep level of identification with body. And therefore, for all of us, bringing the body, which will make our behavior follow the truth, is very, very important. And there is the lethargy associated with it, because the body doesn't like to move, and so there is this postponement. Okay, right now, there is the guests have come to our home, so I don't think I will be able to do the spiritual practice or this work or go to the Vedanta Society to listen to all these things, and it gets postponed, and thus we do not get the light of that truth shine in our behavior. So the way out for that is that do the karma yoga, do your work, and thus that work will bring in that illumination in your life. It is necessary, friends, for us to actually get into the work, so that when we work, we gradually get tuned with it. Our physical attachments, they get transformed. It is a tremendous benefit that cannot be explained by words. One can start feeling it gradually. Many have experienced this, that when we used to work like this in our centers, now how gradually we started feeling about it, and those feelings were then coming into our day-to-day life too. It starts making us feel that it is practical. The practicality is like that, we can see. So therefore, this is how one can fill one's whole being with truth. The whole being will accept as the truth. One important point here is that if the head, if the heart accepts the truth, then it doesn't matter whether head accepts or doesn't accept. It becomes immaterial. If the heart has accepted it, that's fine. It is the many great devotees of Lord, they have accepted the truth at the level of heart. Now they do not even want to think about it. What is the use? Yes, that is truth, and that's it. That is in my heart, that is in my behavior. Whether it is right like this or like that, I don't want to get into argument about it. So there are some, what I would say, such blessed souls whose life at that level of heart gets saturated with this truth. So now they do not need any intellectual gymnastics. It is the one great example you can see in the life of Sri Ramakrishna. There was one devotee, a lady. It is a great story, friends. Her name was Aghormani. And she used to be called Gopal's mother, Gopaler Ma, because she spent many years just meditating and taking the name of Gopala and serving that image. Small image of Gopala means a little Krishna, that it is Krishna as a little cowherd boy. So she had an image of that Krishna, and she would feed the Krishna every morning and evening. She would meditate, means take the name of Lord Krishna all the time. A mantra was received by her, and she would keep on doing it. Never paid attention about what is the true nature of this Krishna and how it is all pervading or not. Did not bother about that. Just that feeling of love about Krishna, that filled her heart. Uh, she spent decades doing that. There is a short biography of her in the probably in our library or bookstore you may find. Our Sukalland had given a very nice discourse on her life. It is very touching that how her life is completely transformed by this practice, that she got the experience of Krishna. Uh, and she saw Sri Ramakrishna as that child Krishna. So she came rushing to Sri Ramakrishna. And after that, I am not going into too many details of that whole episode, but after some time that she was describing her that very intimate experience about Lord Krishna, uh, how she feels it all around in everything. That hasn't happened by thought, that okay, let me imagine that God is in every being. Not thinking by head like this, but through the direct experience she sees that that same Krishna has pervaded in everything. So she was explaining or telling, not even explanation, she was narrating those experiences, and this man, Narendranath, who was master debater, argumentator, and intellectual par excellence, such a person was shedding tears. She said to Narendranath, well, I am an illiterate old lady. Are my experiences all wrong? Narendranath said, still the tears rolling down his cheeks, that no, every single word that you have uttered is true. So when heart is filled, you can bypass the head. It is bypassing the intellectual gymnastics, the ratiocination, and all those, those intricate, narrow paths to get to the heart. It is, you can directly come there, like there are the bypass roads, so that you don't have to go through the narrow lanes of the city. You can bypass that and go to your destination where you need to go without getting into those narrow lanes. So the lanes in our intellect are terribly narrow and immensely complicated. So if one can through devotion get it right in the heart, then that's it, the job is done. So you don't need then reading of philosophies and so forth, or trying to intellectually feel the truth. That is not needed anymore. So this is how, you see, in the life of Sri Ramakrishna, you find how his life was permeated with truth on all levels. Truth accepted by him completely. without slightest ambiguity or doubt. Once something is understood to be true, immediately, when it is understood as true intellectually, immediately the heart will follow it, the hands will also follow it. That was a complete, alignment in Sri Ramakrishna's life, and understanding of the truth, feeling the truth, and then working it out in one's life. And he also mentioned this other thing that I was talking about, that if you are so fortunate that you do not need to now bring in the intellect to receive the truth. That is, for most of the people, almost all of us, that is a bondage through which we have to work, that to use intellect to get snippets of truth and then let it pass through these complicated, narrow, curvy lanes of the brain system, and then finally, if at all, get them percolated in the heart. So, somebody can get it into heart and then illumine the life. There is a danger in that the heart is capable of making very silly mistakes. That something that is not true can mask itself as true. And so intellect is a good filter, one can say, that whether it is true or not true. But once it is done, that's it. The job of the intellect is over there. So this is how you see in Sri Ramakrishna's life. So many wonderful incidents you find that if he understood right in the childhood that all this worldly education that we take is only for the purpose of getting food for our survival and some name, fame and such things for our enjoyment. So that is the purpose of even the big education that one takes. Where does it go? To get food and to get enjoyment. It boils down to that. So Sri Ramakrishna, therefore, after understanding this, it came to his heart that yes, so I don't want it. It was a very well informed decision made by the intellect and heart together. No, this is not what I want. Now the pressure is there of all relatives, the elder brother, that you have to earn some livelihood, to learn these things so that you will be able to earn some livelihood. Sri Ramakrishna, immersed in that thought of ultimate truth, refused to do that. He told very frankly that I do not want to get that kind of education. I want only that education by which the ultimate truth or God is known or experienced. So this is how you see in every example, if something has to be done, when he understood that this has to be done immediately, then feel it and do it. The transition was kind of seamless without any obstacles at any stage. So this is just an inspiration for us that how our head, heart and life have to be aligned so that we will be able to accept the truth at all different levels. We have to accept the truth. The truth is independent. It does not wait for our acceptance. It does not get affected by whether we accept or we don't accept. So, it is, let us feel this, that we have to learn to accept the truth, not fight with truth. It is a futile effort. Who can ever win the battle with truth, you see? It is, we have to learn to accept the truth at head, at heart, and at hands. Thank you, friends. So, any questions? Okay, Raymond. Please go ahead. Yeah.
And body is lazy. And when the body hears, well, we should do this. No, this is right. This is the thing to do. We should do this. That should just makes it rebel, if anything, kind of back off against the should. It's like you have to use a different type of psychology on the body.
Yes, it is. You are very correct there. That the way is, one has to be patient with that. It is, that is why the process is called karma yoga, that use the yoga of action. That one can begin in a small way, just baby steps. Let me put something into action, a little bit of it, and then gradually that little bit, when you get the result of it, then you see that okay, let me do more, and gradually every action gets permeated with that spirit, and that is our life, and the whole life then gets connected with the truth. That is the acceptance of truth at all levels. Yes. Yes, Charlie?
What kind of actions are you talking about?
Ha. What kind of actions? That's a good question. Actually, I answered that it is the actions which are spoken of. It is not a particular action as such. Whatever action that you need to do in life, each of those actions is to be performed with the proper spirit. That is what changes the nature of those actions. Not that everybody will have to become, say, a priest in a temple. That is not what is meant. And not that everybody, because Lord Krishna told Karma Yoga to Arjuna and he was telling him again and again, Yuddhacha, fight. So we all have to go to war to fight. That is not what is meant. Every single work, whatever work that has come to us, somebody may be an accountant. You know what is an accountant, Charlie? Okay, yeah. So somebody has the work of an accountant, somebody has the work of a school teacher, somebody is working as a physician. All those works have to be imbued with that spirit. That is why the Upanishad, the Ishavasya Upanishad, that idea has been expanded in Bhagavad Gita and in our modern language. Swami Vivekananda, in his great, small but great by content book, Karma Yoga, has narrated that Upanishadic saying is that, well, this is the truth, But if you are not able to put that truth in practice right now, what is the way out? कुर्वन्नेवेह कर्माणि जिजीविषेत् शतगं समाः एवं त्वयि नान्यथेतोऽस्ति न कर्म लिप्यते नरे. This is the mantra number 2 in Ishavasya Upanishad. The first mantra gives the nature of the truth. The second mantra, the one question is presumed there, a question or a complaint. Well, this truth, I am not able to abide by this truth. What shall I do? Okay, there is this way out for you, that do the work. While doing whatever work you are doing, it can be any work that you have to do as your profession or your need. Do it with this background of this truth that you just heard. That is, that the first verse was, cover everything by Lord. See that Lord is everywhere. Know this. Now, keeping this in your head as the background reality, now start practicing that in your work. It will not happen immediately. That is why the opening song, this little light of mine, it is little. But as you try to shine it, as you try to work on it, now it starts glowing more and more. So this is how one can see that it becomes bigger and bigger, and our life gets permeated with that. So every work, it is not that some works are karma yoga. Many have this kind of notion that this is karma yoga and this is not karma yoga. These actions are like karma yoga, like Teresa is doing arati. Okay, that is karma yoga. No, somebody who might have been making soup, that is karma yoga. Somebody was taking care of some other works, that is karma yoga. Somebody was, say, working at the airport, at the, say, security check there, that also is karma yoga. Every work, if done in the proper spirit, that is the important thing. To that spirit of the truth has to be imbued in that action, and thus that transforms the action. And the action in its outer shape is like a medicinal, that capsule in which the medicine gets filled. Now that capsule, its color or shape or size, that is not what is curing you, but the medicine that is filled in them, that is the active ingredient, that is what is curing you, not the capsule per se. So every karma is, every action is like that, in which we have filled wrongly, mistakenly, the poison of attachment, this attraction and that aversion. That poison is to be substituted by the medicine of the truth, and thus that action, every action thus can become karma yoga. It is not this action or that action, but every action has that potential. I suggest you should read that chapter. It is probably second or third chapter in Swami Vivekananda's book Karma Yoga. The chapter is titled as "Each is Great." in one's own place. Every karma is equally great. So, each karma has that possibility, each work has that potential.
There's a question related.
Okay, please.
So if there is understanding between head and heart, but not enough courage to act upon it, how does one get the courage?
That's a very good question. Many do not have the courage to act upon it. So, it is many times this courage is the fear of losing something. Why do we not muster up the courage? We feel that I will then lose something. It is this fear is irrational fear. So therefore we have to tell ourselves, be courageous. I liked one kind, that is told kind of a joke, but it is very illustrative in this matter, that it is told to the salespersons who have to go to door to different people and sell things. So, and initially they are very apprehensive that they don't muster up courage. What will happen if that person throws me out? What will happen? So he is very hesitant. So that person is told, just think, where are you? I am on the street. Suppose you are thrown out, where will you be? Well, you will be on the street again. So that kind of thinking will make us gradually courageous. To be courageous again, one has to learn to act. Action is what makes you, get rid of the fear of it. Like many have the fear of ghost, so don't like to stay alone. No, if the ghost comes, what will happen, Now, the answer to that, okay, stay alone. See if the ghost comes, they report to me that there is a ghost there. It is one lady was very apprehensive of ghost and she had to stay alone. That was a long time when we had another women's house there, and she was to stay alone there that time. So he said, but will there be somebody else with me? I am feeling very scared. What is there to get scared about it? No, I feel jittery. Okay, stay there, take the name of God, and if you have a problem, give me a call. Give me a call that don't worry, if the ghost comes in your room, have a nice chat with the ghost, that tell that, okay, very nice thing, let's both sit and meditate, like that. So it is, one has to do it. While doing, this is again told in Swami Vivekananda's Karma Yoga. As you do it, your fear about it goes away. So that is the only way of getting rid of fear. I tell one very real story. One lady was so afraid of water, so would not go into boat. So one day we all at her town, we all devotees were going by boat to a nearby place, just a short boat ride. And I said, come on, all devotees are going, we will be doing arati there and all that. She said, no, please, what will happen? No, I don't. Then I held her by a hand and kind of pulled her in the boat. Come on, what's going to happen? After all, the life is uncertain. If you get drowned, what is going to be such a big deal? People have to die one day or another. Just come. And then first she was kind of very, but as 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes on the water, she gradually got stabilized. And then after we came back singing devotional songs and all that, about 1 hour at a time, and she was so happy. And gradually, what happened? Her job needed her to go every day catching a ferry from her town to Mumbai. She was doing it every day. See, if you do, gradually the fear is just thrown away. So therefore one has to muster the courage. There is no substitute for it but to go ahead and do it. Think that what is going to happen. Maybe I will be subjected to harassment, but without courage, you yourself are subjecting yourself to harassment. You are held at ransom by your fears. So, what is this? No, you have to overcome that. That is the best and the only way of handling this situation. I remember one very nice young lady. At her home we had gone, and then she was thinking whether I should drive all of them. Her husband was to take us, but then the husband suddenly had some work, and so he said, well, do we need to go today? I don't know, because I had to go now. My wife has never driven alone on highways like that. But now that lady took up the challenge, said that, well, I have not driven so far, but so far I have not driven on highway, but everything has a first. Sometime there has to be the first. So why not today? Come on, today I will do it. And everything went on very well. So one has to convince oneself with this. So one can courageously do it. That is how one can build courage. Thank you. So let me quickly, I think, okay, tell.
It seems that even if you go through your heart or your hands, it's still being filtered through your own personal consciousness. So I've seen enlightened masters say certain things they declare as truths, and I can still tell it's relative to their own consciousness of truth. Can any truth really be known beyond I am?
Beyond?
Beyond I am. Can anything really be known?
There is nothing beyond that, but that is to be accepted. I am. That amness should not get mixed up with our attachments, our likes and dislikes. That is important. There is nothing beyond I am. I fully agreed with that. Yeah. So while Vishwanath is doing the offertory, let me tell you about the upcoming programs.
Closing prayer.
Oh yes, there is the closing prayers. I think it is after I tell the upcoming programs. Yeah. So, coming Sunday is the last Sunday of this month, and the discussion on that day will be on universal consciousness. Universal consciousness is the topic. In the original, the flyer, there was announced a concert after that, but that concert has been cancelled. We are forced to cancel it because that artist could not get her visa papers. So, therefore, she is not able to come. So, no concert on that day. But the Sunday after that we will have a Veena concert. So other programs during the week will go on as usual. The Tuesday and Friday classes. Tuesdays it is the Sri Ramakrishna and Divine play. On Fridays it is Shvetashvatar Upanishad. So these classes will go on during this week.
Hatha
And
yoga.
now, huh?
Hatha yoga.
Yes. There is the Hatha Yoga class. Means earlier, our Roshni used to give Tuesday classes 5:30 to 6:30 on yoga or Hatha Yoga. Now, another person has taken up that responsibility. So the time is same, 5:30 to 6:30 in the afternoon. So
What
please,
day?
Tuesday. Day and time remains the same. So, and then there is the spiritual retreat, day-long spiritual retreat coming up on October 19th, Saturday, October 19th. You can see its poster. It is Swami Ishad Dhyanananda from Sacramento who will be giving that retreat on the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So, if you like to join, please register in the bookstore with Naomi, or you can register it online too. So, let me now conclude with the closing prayers. May the Divine, who is Father in heaven of the Christians, Holy One of the Jewish faith, Allah of the Muslims, Buddha of the Buddhists, Tao of the Taoists, Great Spirit of the Native Americans, Ahur Mazda of the Zoroastrians, and Brahman of the Hindus, lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. May the all-loving being manifest himself unto us and grant us abiding understanding and all-consuming divine love. Peace be unto all.